All
Beautiful.
right, we're going live. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for joining in. We've got Cody, Szohr, and Liz Naumann, and they are calling in from one of their two markets. You're not in San Diego today, right? You're in Wisconsin.
No, we live in San Diego.
Oh, that's right.
And that's where we are. But we're
going to Wisconsin. We're back in Milwaukee tomorrow.
Right.
Gotcha. Thank you guys so much for joining. My name's David, and we've got Elise with us to support you with questions in the chat. And then also we're going to open it up to Q&A shortly. When you post a question in the chat, unless you're saying it's about DealMachine, we're going to assume it's for Cody and Liz, and then we're actually going to bring you guys on to ask the question live with us. And Hannah's going to help coordinate that in the background as well. And to kick things off, Cody and Liz, I would love for you guys to give a brief background about how you grew up in Germantown, moved to San Diego, and why you guys came to real estate investing.
Sure. So, I grew up in Germantown. I went to college in Milwaukee to be a special ed teacher. When I graduated in 2016, I moved to San Diego. I had a little family there. And I taught special education at a high school for a couple of years. And during that time, she was
I was in mortgage at the time. I was a loan officer assistant. So I had like a little bit of real estate background when we met and decided to start this up.
Right. So she's actually my neighbor, and that's how we met about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And since then, about a year now since we closed our first deal, and since a little bit over a year that we've been doing this together. And I just didn't go back to teaching, and now she's not working at the loan place anymore. And here we are.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so you guys have had some success too, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So we have closed 20 deals. We have 2 other ones under contract currently. Our first deal was last November. We closed about 1 deal a month for the first, couple of months, and then it went up to 2, and then we had 5 last month, 3 this month, and we have 2 already for next month to close. A couple other leads.
Got it. So your first one was in November. That's about 11 months ago.
10 months ago, yeah.
10 months ago. So you guys you're doing great. Now, how long did it take before, like, when did you start? When did you kind of think about real estate investing?
It did take a little bit of time. I mean, when I really started versus, when I just dabbled a little bit and had DealMachine, was like probably 6 or 7 months before that. But still took a solid 3 months to get the first deal.
Okay, 3 months to get the first deal. Yep.
Yeah. So like 6 months total though.
Yeah, we had leads before then, but like that was like our first actual closed deal.
Right.
So it took the first couple of leads that we got. I think we were still learning and figuring out like what a good lead was and what we could really do with it. And so yeah, it was a little bit of a learning process. Definitely we've looked back and been like, oh, we had that one now, like definitely would have gone about a different way, or it's a learning process.
Probably about 6 months to understand how to do duplexes and rental properties. So I knew that I definitely missed some of those on the way. But now that's actually our best we
love duplexes.
lead is we get, and single family rentals. Yeah. We've done a lot of rentals.
Awesome. So are these rentals that you're buying yourself, or these properties that were rentals that you're scooping up?
So we don't buy any of them ourselves. We haven't yet. We have every intention of doing those down the line, but right now we're just wholesaling them. And really, we've done fully occupied, no work needed ones, and we've done completely vacant, $10,000 homes that need $50,000, $60,000 in work. It just seems to be the best buyers that we have found, and the most motivated sellers. I mean, we don't really do too well with the owner occupied, but we do well enough that it's worth doing. We just modify it and do a lot less marketing specifically at them.
Okay, got it. All right, so before I go on into that success that you've had, I wanted to pause and have Hannah change the slide. And I want to ask you guys a question that are listening. What's one thing that you guys really need help with, or you have a question about? You can answer it in just even one word if you want. What's one thing that you need the most right now? Go ahead and put that in the chat. You guys can feel free to answer too.
Right. I mean, there's so many things.
Right.
Well, I mean, for us, I mean, I had zero experience before this, so I mean, everything I need a little more. I mean, every day I'm learning a little bit towards everything, and it's still has some ways to go on all of it.
Got it.
Right. And he's a perfectionist, so he always wants to, like, every single thing. He always has a million questions about everything, so it's a constant learning for him, which is the best part. He's the one who taught me how to, like, literally make the processes, like, ask myself constant questions every day about every little move that I'm making to help myself.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, even seeing a question like this, he's probably like a million things probably going through his mind right now. Like,
right. And I heard you say that you're actually writing your processes down because you're opening a second market. So, and you want that to be replicated in the same way you operate the first one. And in the chat, I am hearing some people need help getting cash buyers. Some people have paying drivers. Some people are worried about if they're actually going to get paid. I think wholesaling in general. Let's see here. Getting leads, negotiating, locating wholesalers. Interesting. And then also negotiating on there twice. So maybe we can give some negotiating tips once we get into this, but this is really great. So now that you guys did your first deal in November, right after 3 months of figuring things out, well, how long did it take you to get the second deal?
The following month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from there, I think there was a missed month, but then one the next month and the month after that. So pretty much 4 deals in the first 5 months after, you know, getting the first deal. And then there's the same thing with the 2 deals. We did 2 deals like 3 or 4 times and missed 1 month with no deals.
Got it. Okay.
And then the 5 and then the 3.
Fantastic. So what's been like the biggest surprise or like the biggest win for you guys so far?
We got accidentally closed or got a $35,000 assignment fee from one of the properties.
From a wrong address.
Yeah, they switch the zip codes up sometimes. Like they'll go to the. We actually got 2 deals out of the 20 from this. One up in Wisconsin Rapids and one some Wolf Lake or something. I believe both a couple hours from where we were looking for properties. They just the first one made like $1,500 on. That was actually I think our 3rd deal close ever. And then there was a cabin house. He called us and it wasn't the zip codes sometimes change, and that's part of our reviewing process now. Like we make sure everything's correct before we start sending them. But we sent it to him, and this was actually I believe he called me in like November last year for the first time, this guy. And I offered him probably a little more than I should have, and then I came back and just brought it back down to about like 180 from 200. And like 6 months later we started talking again, and a couple months after that he accepted the 160 offer.
Way to follow up.
Yeah, it took about 10 months. Oh yeah, I mean follow up is key. Touch points and follow ups. We follow our good leads to the end. Mm-hmm. Most of our leads have come. I mean, we have deals that were on like the 7th mailer 8 months later, and then 6 months after following up with them. Like 2 of them like that we got when we started, like closed our first deal, and we had just closed on them now.
Yeah, I think that's our main thing is that we're a smaller company, and we from start to beginning reviewing, we're very detailed. And then the good ones that we do find, like we do like to have that extra like follow up, making sure like, you know, ask them about like what's going on in their life if we have like heard things while we were talking to them on the phone, just trying to keep like good rapport with them throughout the process. Make sure that anytime that they are ready to sell, that they come to us first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have our automated follow-ups, which is key as well for that. because then they reach out when the time comes. But yeah, we've been working outwards the entire time that we've been building, and we know exactly what it takes to get a deal, how many hours, literally down to how many hours of driving it takes for us to get a deal. So whenever we're ready to do a larger volume, I mean, we can do it. We just got to get another driver, add hours. But we've been building our processes since day one, not necessarily just right now. That was some advice
amazing.
I got.
Actually, I would love to see or hear, what is that breakdown for you? Is that actually like an analytics, screen that you have?
I mean, what do you mean by a screen?
Are you reading that from a dashboard, or have you guys
I created those numbers. I found those numbers myself. I did like a 6-month review action plan. So I did a virtual wholesaling course about a year ago before I started doing it in Milwaukee.
Awesome.
And,
what is that number for you guys right now? Like, how many hours?
It takes us 40 hours of driving to get a deal.
Okay. Do you know how many properties you're adding in that time?
15 properties. So I got 40 hours at 15 properties, an hour added. Gets us about 600 properties in DealMachine. And then we mail about 60% of those. After the review process, we get rid of 40% of the properties we add.
Oh,
and
okay.
So we mail 360 properties, which gets us 20 calls. About 50% of those are take me off your list. And then the other 50%. So we get 20 prospects, 10 of them are leads, and we close a deal from our driver added properties, it's every nine leads. And
this must be in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a key difference. I guess I've noticed is, if you're in the Midwest, those numbers sound about right. And if you're on a higher price market, the numbers go up, but so does the profits, so it still continues to be worth it from what I've seen in any market. But if you're in San Diego, I imagine those numbers would probably double at least.
And I'm sure that they will. We just didn't have the startup capital. Now we do, so we can take the time to get the deal here.
Yeah.
That's why we moved it to there. But I was excited to come here because I am excited for the bigger spreads. And now that we have we have a tried and true system with the DealMachine now. We've been tweaking it and working. I mean, that's all we do. We don't do anything else besides DealMachine. And I mean, one day, eventually, we're hoping to, sell our program for it,
Right.
Amazing.
I'm confident that we have a very good one. And as time goes on, it'll only get better.
That's amazing. And I'm just curious, why did you guys start with DealMachine?
Yeah, so I mean, we were doing a bunch of things at first, text blasts. Just trying things out, and it was failing. So that's when we paused. And I actually sent a message to somebody on DealMachine and said, "Can I cancel my enterprise plan? We're not using it." And they said, "No, but you should do this, this, and this." And I'm like, "All right, I'll give it a whirl." And I did, and that's how it started. So whoever it was, I thank them for. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Probably wouldn't be doing this. Probably be teaching still. They're like, "No," and I'm like, "Okay," and so I just decided to try it again. I was that was the time I was going to be done with all of it.
Yeah.
And then they said no, so I did it again, and now we're here.
Did that happen to be one Josh Johnson that told you no?
No, it was a girl. It was a female. One of the.
Then it might have been me.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that for sure, but I think it might have been you. Yeah.
It was me.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for trusting us.
Right. No, he's used to instant results because that's who he is. He's like, why am I not succeeding? So that was probably the best thing that could have happened, being like, well, not right now, give it another go, can't cancel it.
Oh man, I've heard that quote several times where somebody will try so many things, but nothing gets results because you're spread too thin. And I fall, into that as well in terms of DealMachine. And it's true with any business, I feel like, and it's always beneficial to master one thing. So kudos to you guys for doing that.
Well, even with the mastering one thing, I still think this is the way to go over all the other ones. At least for someone starting out. I'm not a big outbound lead person. I actually am not. I don't like talking to the sellers, period. I still, a year in and 20 deals later, I still am nervous before every call. I'm very much looking forward to having our deal finder that we're training to be acquisitions take over on it. So I don't have to do it. I'm more of a, you know, the visionary and scaling and planning. I like making processes. With my special education background, it's allowed me to do the processes and other things pretty detailed and well, and I think I can expand pretty good. I just don't like doing the hands-on with the seller part.
Mm-hmm. That's I heard you say visionary, and I was wondering, is Liz the integrator? Do you guys you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much, and we have our roles separated. I mean, we do everything together. Every decision and everything we do, I mean, is together. But she has her specific roles, and I have mine, and that does fall into that. She does that, and I do the visionary part. And then also she starts it from reviewing the properties, working with the VA, all the way through answering the phone, and then hands it off to me, and I take it to the end.
Yeah, we've always been like that, and I've always liked being the back end too. Even in mortgage, like my favorite job in the mortgage industry was being a processor, because I liked seeing like the middle. I was always kind of that middle person who like took care of everything that needed to be taken care of, making sure everything was on track to go. I think that's still kind of like what I do now.
Definitely.
Basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she keeps all the parts moving and running.
Yeah.
Works with all the deal finders, and yeah, I mean, without her, it wouldn't be possible for sure.
That's awesome. You guys seem like
I also didn't like talking to the deal finder. I don't like talking to people in general.
Well, thanks for doing this webinar.
He was on the phone though, because as soon as a phone call comes, he's like,
I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it.
Oh, that's great, guys. Thanks for sharing that. I would love to open it up. I thought that was a great introduction. Thanks for answering some of my questions. I want to turn it over to some of our viewers here and have Hannah actually pick out people who type their questions in the chat and bring them on to ask their question. But while we're waiting, Cody and Liz, somebody was asking if you had any book recommendations.
Book recommendations. I mean, I did skim through and read parts that were important of actually, do I have them here?
I think
It's estimating it was a Bigger Pockets books, 2 of them. It was
Yes.
estimating rehabs.
Yes, I use that as well starting out.
Yeah, because that was big. And then
It's
there was
like
another
$20
one.
for an ebook, right?
Right.
On,
yeah.
Bigger Pockets.
Yeah, that was the big one. The other one was kind of just an overview of everything, but that one was good because I didn't have any clue about that stuff going in. So we still don't until we get that property under contract. I mean, 4 out of 5 times we never even step foot in it. We go off of what they say, but being able to estimate the rehab cost was definitely my downfall at the beginning.
Sure.
The ARV was too. I mean, it's hard to learn, the difference between, are you going to rehab it to be selling at the top of the market, or if the house is already in halfway decent condition, you're only going to be doing this to get it to the average price. So it took me a lot. I failed a lot of times. I think out of the first 10 properties I put under contract, like 7 of them or 6 of them or 7 of them failed because I wasn't doing it correctly. But
okay, so but you learned, and then
yes.
When you say they failed, you just mean you lost the deal,
right?
Because nobody would buy it at that price. Okay, got it. We've got Christopher with us. Christopher, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, David. Thank you.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good. I see you're in your car actually, and you're safely pulled over.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you had a question. I did not get a chance to read it, but if you want to ask it now, we would love to help get it answered.
Okay, thanks. Well, I wanted to ask you guys what factors that you looked at when considering a virtual market. I currently live in Los Angeles County, and I've been dipping my toe in the water and I guess running into that kind of paralysis analysis a little bit. But ultimately, I've decided that I'm going to get a quicker win by going virtual than I would if I'm trying to do it in a competitive market like Los Angeles. So now I'm trying to see what factors I should be looking at when I'm, looking for a virtual market. I've
Right.
heard things about like Kansas and Texas and the Midwest, and I mean, was it really just you having gone to school there that propelled you to choose Michigan? Or?
So, that is definitely why I chose. I chose there, but I
Yeah.
did make sure that it was a decent market before. And to
Okay.
do that, I used the list source, and I just found out how many properties were being sold in the MSA area. It's kind of like county, but a little wider. And through the virtual wholesaling course that I took, anything over 1,500 properties in a 3 months, or 1,500 total in a 3-month span is a good area. But I will tell you this: any major market, any major city in the state, so there's always one in every state, it will be a good one for driving for dollars, especially using DealMachine, because there's houses being sold everywhere. There's distress and there's issues in every city, and there's not as much competition with this either. Like I was saying, you could be successful in any of them, but if you want to pick the best one, you want to find where the most sales are happening, the most cash sales are happening in which city, and that would be the best one to go to.
Okay. What virtual wholesaling course did you take? Which one was that?
It's through the virtual wholesale guy, Hyam. If
Okay.
I would recommend that to anybody who wants to do virtual wholesaling associated with DealMachine, the two together. Got us here. So, and then we tried other things before it in another program that cost a lot more money. This one's only a couple $100, paid a lot more for things that didn't work. These two compiled together is success.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Christopher. Awesome. So you guys use the virtual wholesaling course with DealMachine. Did you actually hire a driver in that virtual market right away?
Yes, we actually had our friend start doing it. A buddy of mine from high school. He was the one who started. Now he's on my eyes and ears and feet on the ground there. Kind of goes to all the appointments, even buyer walkthroughs. He's there every single time. He's the familiar face with the sellers and the buyers. No one's ever seen me, and I like it that way.
Wow, and this was just somebody you're paying $15 an hour, and they were actually meeting the sellers?
Him, I pay like $25 an hour, and he just does everything for me. And even if it's a 15-minute thing, he rounds up to the hour. He gets paid an hour minimum for every task that he does. He hasn't been driving for us since then, but he's got plenty of work now. We got plenty of things going on.
Right. We have one main driver, Sam, and he's the one that we're going to train to be lead acquisitions manager, and he's the best. But we found that,
Definitely.
just he does anything you want. He's so thorough and takes the best pictures, and it's hard to find a driver like that. And once all this COVID stuff started happening, we also went into the virtual driving for dollars extension, which was probably the best investment so far that we've made. Obviously DealMachine overall is, but literally we have the best virtual assistant you could ever ask for. She's the best. Like, Julie she will do everything. She reviews her own properties after she adds them. Bang for your buck for sure. Like, I don't know what our return is on that, but
I've got those numbers. We'll get to there.
Yeah.
But so I forget, what was the question?
I was asking if you had hired a driver in person, and then you actually took it a step further, and he was more than a driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the driver we have now, also from the virtual wholesale guy that kind of mentored me a little bit. He said to make sure you bring those people up with you as you go if you get good ones. So he didn't really want to be driving too much anymore. So I told him, give it a couple months though while we're working on it. And he's actually taken the reins on hiring another deal. He's answering the calls and he's getting them started.
And them trained.
Yeah, so he's doing that now. So that's cool. That's one thing less that she has to do now.
Yeah.
So we're building a team slowly,
Okay.
but in-house.
Okay, awesome. So now we have a new guest, Tato. Am I saying your name correctly?
You are.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited that somebody from the Milwaukee market is on.
Is that
Oh,
where
are
you
you
are?
in Milwaukee too?
So funny enough, I live in California as well, but I spend half my time in Milwaukee because my family's there. And so I started driving there too. Like
Right. Yeah.
maybe. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's funny. I've been, I started real estate investment probably same time as you guys last year. I have yet to hear a single person on any podcast in Milwaukee, which I feel like is kind of a good thing because, you know,
I
there's
agree.
over and over, but
Your first competition we've seen.
I know exactly, but I was super excited. So I feel like I could ask you guys a million questions, but I just started trying to get drivers myself. Like I said, I spend like 2 weeks a month there, and I'll drive, you know, as much as I can. But realistically, when I'm here, then my action kind of stops. So it sounds like you guys have friends driving for you, but are you thinking about finding, you know, just hiring others like online, and would love to know like how you're paying them, et cetera?
Oh yeah, no, we've gone through so many drivers. It's
Yep.
unimaginable, and it's literally like just that's why he was saying now that we have Sam, like kind of our best driver taking care of that. It is like literally just the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
It is hard. We basically went through the same routes as most people would do, posting on Indeed, you know, Craigslist, everything. And
Yeah.
our thing was we did like the 1 hour test drive. And after that, it's really hard. It is a process to weed out like all the people who aren't serious. We did up the price $20 per hour for a driver, but they have to have a minimum of 10 hours a week. Whenever they want, obviously, but that's just so we have someone who is more committed and not just, you know, like, oh, I'll do like a couple hours.
Yeah,
one day.
I definitely
100%.
suggest that 1 or 2 large amount of hours a week drivers is the best route to go than having a bunch of drivers doing it. I mean, I know it works all the ways, but we've tried all of them. And for us, it's best just to have 1 or 2 that drive the 10 hours a week. So I mean, besides, you know, posting it everywhere, I mean, that's one, but to get the drivers to drive and for us to not have to spend a lot of time, you know, weeding them out and deciding who's good or not, we really did it wherever we posted it, we had a link to our Deal Finder portal landing page, which we've updated and in the process of putting our own videos in there, but we've changed all the content and the welcome email, and we have our drivers sign up and complete an hour test drive before we even talk to them. So we've had a lot of people do it. We'd have people, you know, add one property or do this, and we've had people do the hour test drive and then never do it again. So that is still, so we could even probably do it even further, but we just have people driving until we find the right person. And we never, after we get one person, we don't stop. If we were out of the Deal Finder, because that's where we ended up one point for like a month, we didn't have a Deal Finder at all.
Oh,
and
interesting.
that hurt us. That was our no deal month in that when we were making two a month. So it's always good to have more than one driver, absolutely, in case, you know, they leave. Really, like we like to have 3, but since we started with our virtual driver, we only have 2 other ones, so we're never short a driver. So I mean, it is really just it is a tedious process, and
hit or miss.
Right. So we just kind of blasted it out in big numbers and hope people drive.
Generally speaking, what areas of Milwaukee are you guys having them drive? Just curious.
So we do it by zip code. I do I do a breakdown of the cash sales in every zip code in the MSA of Milwaukee MSA or Southeast Wisconsin, and we filter it by the highest to lowest, and we started them off in the highest ones, and we actually just had them drive through absolutely every zip code, and then we have someone right now down in Racine and Kenosha, and we had Sam, our good driver, doing kind of out west a little bit, north like Grafton, Slinger area, and now we actually just started our second round. We completed every zip code, and we started our second round in the 6 to 12 month driving routes, and we mail by zip code so we can keep track of where the deals are coming from. And now we're focusing more on the areas where we're getting the deals to go drive second again. And then when, those can't be driven, we'll just hit some of the other ones again. So now we know where to be driving again and which ones to do next. And whenever there's not time to do those ones, we drive another. So really we've done everywhere. I mean, we've gotten 20 deals. There's one zip code that we've gotten 4 or 5 deals in, but that is, since you're the competition, I'm going to keep that one to myself. But we've gotten deals in a lot of them. I mean, I'll tell you this, it's better in the inner city areas for sure. The 53206 and 212 and 09. That's where, 12 or 15 of our 20 deals have come from those 5 or 6 zip codes in the middle there. There, I told you anyway.
And if you, just curious, like if you get a lead in a particularly bad area, are you nervous you won't find anybody who will be interested in taking off your hands?
No, not at all. At first I was, but after we got the first one, we've been building our buyers list, and we use Podio so we can beast mode, and we use like tags, and I just have one that's like beaters, and that's for all that area, and we've got like 45 or 50 people in there now, and as long as it's a deal, they go. Now we're to a point where no matter what the deal is, as long as it's the right deal, we have buyers.
That's awesome. Yeah, for people who aren't familiar with Milwaukee, I feel like the zip code thing is tough because it's such a segregated city. Like you could go one block and it gets really bad, and another block and it gets fine.
Well,
so
that makes it difficult for getting the ARV and running comps and things. It can be a street over, and that's what I learned the tough way, was that Milwaukee is one of the absolute toughest places to understand the value of the home. You can go 2 blocks and it can change $100,000 in the inner city zip code. It's wild.
Did you just rely on, you just got better with time?
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it was.
I feel like I lean on Pop Scream a lot too.
Yeah, that's what we use. Yep.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Might have to kick me off. I seriously could go on forever. So I'll let someone else ask a question.
Well,
thanks for joining us, Sato. It was great to have you on. And good luck in the Milwaukee market. Looks like we've got Sarah joining next. And you guys have a big fan, actually. Somebody said they would really like to drive for you, Miss Sean.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
So, yeah, if you're interested in that, we'll connect you guys afterwards.
Okay.
Great. Sarah, can you hear us? Sometimes people don't have their microphones or video cameras ready, so might have to go for another person. Oh, there you are.
Looks like she's got her speaker muted.
Let's see. Sarah, if you can hear us, you're actually muted. There you go.
Hi. So I still do my 9 to 5, and I drive on my days off. Is there a better, time to, time of day versus, to avoid a lot of people seeing you take pictures of houses and stuff like that? I've had some strange looks at times. Of me taking pictures, and I don't really fear it, but it's kind of it's strange. I guess I'm new to this. I've only been driving for a month.
Yeah. Well, I would say one thing I learned is make sure everyone sees you take pictures. Do not try to hide, and try to sneak a photo.
Right.
Wear a really bright vest. They're like $10 on Amazon. Wear a really bright neon vest, and then take that picture very proudly, because somebody may ask you, but then you can exactly tell them, you're looking to buy a property in the neighborhood, ask them if they know anyone who wants to sell, and you'll find leads that way too.
That's actually new for that last part, because that's exactly what we do. We even have business cards that we hand out to anyone asking questions, but that is something we should be asking them too, if they know anyone looking to sell. That we'll add that, because we get it all the time too. So to answer your question, I would imagine the 9 to 5 time is probably the best time when people aren't at home. But no, it happens to all of our drivers multiple times, frequently. But I just tell them to be very polite, answer their don't speed off, answer their question. And in the real bad areas, we do try to get them to go in the middle of the day and light out, and like, because there are less people, and try to avoid those things, but it's happened. And still the same situation. You just tell them what you're doing, and we don't make people drive it without informing them beforehand and confirming they're okay with it. And
Okay. Yeah, no, that helps. And I'm just happy that you're from Milwaukee as well, because it's good to hear that other people from this city are on podcasts and stuff like this. So
you're in Milwaukee too?
I'm Milwaukee, born and raised.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm glad that to see and hear other people, even on Bigger Pockets podcasts and stuff like that. I don't really hear anybody from Milwaukee very often. So glad to see you.
That's where Cody and Liz are going next, the Bigger Pockets podcast.
Oh, are you?
No,
Awesome.
no.
They should.
No,
You
just
could. I mean, they always look for people. So.
yeah, this isn't something that I'm too keen on doing. I just did it because you guys have helped
Done
a lot
so
and had a
much
big
for us,
impact
yeah.
on us. So
I
we
so
come on and
appreciate
share.
that.
But I won't be doing this again for anybody else. Maybe
We're
the
so
virtual
thankful.
wholesale guy
Bless you guys.
that taught me. He'd be the only other person, because I have done it for him too, but nobody else.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
Well,
how did you find your drivers from Milwaukee? Did you have like a specific website that you looked up, or is it just the video that you watched through DealMachine? She just recommended a website or a link for drivers for Milwaukee, and I just didn't know if that's how you saw drivers in Milwaukee, or if that was the same for every city or state that you go to.
Yeah, we do it the same way. I mean, we have different deal finder because we have our second account now. We created a second account instead of doing it all through one. But yeah, we just have our deal finder portal and then the link to that. But we just put to find the drivers. Like we said, it's really just, we blast it pretty much everywhere that you can put a job application. At least we have.
Okay. Yeah.
Craigslist has been the easiest one because it doesn't have to jump through so many hoops. If we're just going to go with the route of putting it out there and having as many people add and drive as we can get, it's Craigslist, because they can just click the link right from the ad, sign up, and then do the test drive. So it's they follow through the process. We say, I really do recommend the test drive before going into it, because it really does weed out. I mean, we've had a lot where we've had failed drivers going this route. Would be so much more and so much longer if we spoke to everyone who signed up and everybody who wanted to drive. Because I would say probably like 19, 20 don't that even say they want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah. Big fan of that process for all my
Right.
Yeah, I learned I actually got that from you when we talked that one time after my first deal.
Yeah.
When we jumped on the call, you told me to do something like that, and we tweaked it a little, but that is where I took it from.
Awesome. That's exciting. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. Did you have any more questions?
Just about the negotiation. There's somebody else that asked about it too. Like I'm just wondering if it's not different really by, city, I'm assuming, especially Milwaukee, as you had mentioned, it's really different, but, just as long as you talk about negotiation.
Yeah, so really, I mean, our negotiating varies from person to person. So we really don't have a one size fits all. I mean, I did the John Martinez trainings, watch those videos, the free ones, and tried to use those from the start, and then realized like it really doesn't go like that. I mean, it was helpful, but you can't just follow it. It really depends on the seller, the motivation, the situation, and a lot of times, like I said, we do the offers without ever stepping foot in the property. If after she answers the calls, takes the leads and passes them along to me, she fills out a scorecard too, so we know like what the lead, like 1 to 5 scale. And depending on the information she gets from them, sometimes I'll just call with the offer right there. And negotiating, really, I don't usually come up on my offers. They're usually what they are. And if I do, it's very little. I usually come to them with the offer. But even if I think I can get it for less, then I won't give the offer. I'll talk to them first and give them an offer range. But when it comes to negotiating, I like to feel out where they're at before I ever give an offer. Like a lot of people won't give it to you, but if you ask them enough questions in the right way, you can figure out what they want for the house, and then you know what to come in with the offer at. Or And if you know it's higher than you can, then you just go with the highest offer you possibly can give them to make a deal happen, and then that's it. And then you follow up with them after they say no every couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And then just if we have a way to connect with you in the future somewhere or somehow.
Yeah. You can find us on the Facebook. You can message us, and we come back there to Milwaukee frequently. We'll be back this weekend for 5 days, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions and help you out. So it's Sandpiper Realty on Facebook.
What is it?
Sandpiper Realty.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chewy.
Hey, David. How you doing?
I love seeing you on every one of these webinars.
Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to make this deal machine work.
Love it. Where are you at right now with it?
I've got about 900 properties added.
Okay. Respectable.
Yes. But Houston's a tough market.
Okay.
So a lot of these people are being contacted by other investors. So we're just plugging away. We're doing, we're mailing to all 900.
Okay.
I just hooked up with another driver who doesn't have the means to, she's been driving, but she don't have the means to get in contact with the owner. So I'm texting that. So I do have one under contract. It's a lot. I'll make a small assignment fee, like $3,000. That'll be my first one off DealMachine. So
okay.
Happy about that one. If we can get it to close, but yeah, just plugging away at it. I work, so plug away on it when I can.
Well, before we go any further, you can get a free account review with Brandy, who's our director of customer success. So if you want one, just anyone listening can reach out and we can get that scheduled. But I'm curious, Cody, what are you thinking after hearing this situation?
Yeah, so I think you're right when you say Houston's a competitive market, kind of like where we are in San Diego. But there's competition in every market, some more than others, obviously, and that's the case for you. But our best ones are always the properties that aren't on the other people's lists. You can't get these houses unless you're driving, like the stuffed mailbox or the overgrown grass. There could be someone passed away or there's just an issue that's just starting, and you get to those people first. We're not really getting the ones that have the other. We actually don't even mail to the ones that have, liens, like high liens, or we have a pretty thorough review process. Like I said, we only mail 60% of our properties, and they're all ones that we know if they call in, they're going to be worth. And obviously, sometimes we don't have all the right information, but we get it to a point like that. But really, it's really the numbers game from there, especially Houston. I don't know how many it would take to make a deal, but I know that there are houses that this situation is happening to in every market where they're new and there aren't people coming at them yet, unless they're doing exactly this. There's no other way you can get them right away. So really, I guess I'm just kind of putting this together while I'm talking here, but I would have to say that it really depends on your market. You have to just kind of get an understanding of it and then know what kind of properties are being successful and you're getting leads. How many leads have you got in and what's their situation? Find the pattern, and then when those leads come in, those are the ones you follow to the end. If you chase all the leads that come in, you'll never get through. You'll never make it, for one. You got to be able to figure out which ones aren't going to be and which ones are. And then, just the following up and touch points. We don't add a crazy amount of properties, and we close a deal every 9 leads, which is still very, very good compared to other people in Milwaukee doing other things. That's good anywhere. So really, there isn't a one size fits all, to it. It's really to understand the market you're in. I can tell you just from our planning for San Diego and then what we've done in Milwaukee, that if you utilize DealMachine correctly and, spend a lot of time figuring out the numbers and in your market, it will work.
All right. I appreciate that. Yeah. I know I don't even have very many leads, not even bad leads, or, any kind of leads even with 900 mailers going out. I think I'm about my third touch on the first couple hundred. But I know another guy, Phil Gore, he's a Deal Machine guy too in Dallas. And I think he was like at similar numbers to me. And I think he only had like 5 people call back or, contact him, just because Dallas is very competitive as well. So
I'll tell you this. When we started, we were mailing, we didn't have a crazy amount. I can't tell you exactly how many properties we had, but we didn't get very many calls either. As we got months and months in and added properties, we started getting calls on the 3rd, 4th, 5th mailers and some from the first mailers. It just takes time to build it up. It'll happen no matter what, as you add the leads. We also, though, a big thing that we do, and she can talk more on this, is the reviewing process, but also how we separate them into campaigns and how many touch points we have on them. Because it does save money too. If you're working a job and you're doing this, you're probably not trying to spend a crazy amount before you get a deal either. You need to make it work. And to make it work, and this is for everybody, not only our review process where we get rid of 40% of them, but how we put them on different campaigns based off of owner type and level of distress. Like the owner occupied low distress ones, they get 3 mailers over like an 8-month span.
We, for our market in Milwaukee, we like to focus on absentee. We also have the high distress vacant ones. We have corporate ones, and then those are the same, like you said, like low, medium, and then high. So we're trying to get at the highest distress ones, and absentee, of course. That's why the owner occupied has the least amount. But I think just sending out mailers to everybody for the same types of properties and stuff really helped us. And it also helps us realize where all of our leads are coming from, which is how he does all the campaigns and stuff. But yeah, that's how we.
And our return to sender ones, we go through and fix all of those if we can. And any mailing address issues, we make sure all of our things are accurate and on before we send it, because in the end, when you do a lot of them, it does save you a lot of money the way we do it. We're at about our cost per deal for DealMachine, just the regular driver added ones, for our January through June campaign. Every 6 months, we're going to be switching the campaign structures and the messages to see how things work. And that first 6 months, January through June, we were getting our 11 deals closed with $17,000 total investment. So we're about $1,550 a deal. That's driver pay, DealMachine fee, mailers, everything included. We're getting the deal at about every $1,500. We're really, really keen on reviewing the properties and focusing more on absentee and medium distress and higher. Absentee, corporate owned, medium distress, and higher all get 7 mailers. We do follow-up campaigns or for Marketing Complete. We're actually on our first Marketing Complete campaign where we're going through all the high distress properties that never called in, that we know if they're, if we got in front of them, we could make a deal happen. So we started looking them up on white pages and adding the other phone numbers. We're doing the text blast, and
we've gotten a lot of calls now too from our Marketing Complete ones. So it does take time. These people keep your mailers if they look nice and they're oh, this person, we've probably gotten more calls from Marketing Complete recently now than we ever have before.
And we've heard a lot of times that they've gotten the post. So like I said earlier, about the best deals come from ones that no one else is marketing to, but also we have gotten deals from people that are getting marketed, but they call us because they like our postcard. And I know David has said that a lot of times, but we also tailor the message specifically towards the type of owner and the level of distress. If it's a vacant, high distress one, we tell them how we're from the area and we hate seeing houses sit like this vacant. We would love to take it on if they're interested. And absentee ones, I mean, corporate ones will be like, do you want to, be added to our list on the second one? The first one we ask to sell it. The second one we ask them if they want to be added to our list, if they want more houses like that. So that's to answer some other questions about how to find buyers. When you're doing the corporate-owned properties, you send one of your mailers asking if they want to be added. And we've gotten a handful of good buyers from that. We sold a deal to someone that we got that way. So yeah, I mean, really taking the time to do your postcards, nice. We've gone through every single postcard that they have available, all the different color shades, the font sizes. We spent a lot of time deciding what we wanted to do for this new round of mailers, and it's working again.
Yeah, I'm pretty OCD too. Even the virtual ones with Google Images, like I have to have it cropped perfectly. Like
yeah, we added the pictures. Yep, even the pictures on the virtual ones to make it look nice. And I mean, we've gotten
people call and say they like ours. They're like, I called you because we like your mailer. I was like, thank you.
And we've gotten deals from that as well. Yeah. So yeah, we got 4 deals closed from our virtual driver so far in Milwaukee. 4 deals. We spent about $4,600 total on mailers and her, and that's actually not true. We haven't spent the total $4,600 because our mail tracker we put out for all future mailers. And we just did that for all of them. So we still have probably $600 or $700 to go before the mailers are done for that campaign. And we've closed 4 deals. So we're at about $1,150 per closed deal on virtual. And that's something I wanted to tell everybody is that I absolutely suggest you do the virtual. There's no reason not to when you have DealMachine already. You don't have to pay for the addition of it. And if you do it yourself, it's literally almost nothing besides the cost of the mailers. But we have a very good VA that does it and does the review process and does everything besides starts the mailers. All I do is start them. She answers the call and then we close on it. She does the entire thing now. We've got it down to that point. So she's just literally, we're doing almost nothing and we're just closing deals from her and it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So that was actually one of my questions was like being virtual. How do you navigate with the seller? Like, do you have somebody boots on the ground in Milwaukee that coordinates? If does the buyer goes? How are y'all doing that? Is the buyers are going to see the houses? How do you do the showings?
Yeah, so I coordinate everything myself, but like to get everything initially started. But we do have my buddy who started our driving and then now who goes to all of our appointments for us and everything. He does that too. I figure out what works for this. So I guess really, our big thing now, this is just part of what you're saying, but I want to share this with everyone because this was one of the biggest benefits that we started doing that's made things a lot easier for us through a lot of trial and error. Is that when we do get a property under contract before we ever go see it, which we do like 4 out of 5 times, when we schedule our time to go see it. So I actually do have a contractor now, a friend of my dad's actually, who I give $150 every time we get a house under contract to go there and get the actual, and create an actual report. So we can share it with people too. And it's just so I know that we have the numbers right and it's a deal. But so we don't get along in the process and have to, cancel it. But besides that part's not really necessary. It's good and you can get it. But the biggest thing is get your buyers at the walkthrough when you go to see the property the first time too, which it might be difficult to do at start. But as we've been building our buyers, we know who wants what. We have them all broken up into our tags. So if it's single family rental, we go to that. We get those buyers, we blast it out, and we tell them we're showing the property next Thursday when we're going there at the same time. So we usually get a solid 3, 4, 5, 6 people that show up. And the last 4 or 5 deals we haven't really even needed our inspector. They've just closed right then. The buyer, we know who is going to be interested in the house. So that way we don't have to get in a bunch of times, because obviously when you're wholesaling it, we don't necessarily either tell them we're wholesaling it, but we never lie to them. If they ask me straight up, I would tell them, but I always just tell them our partners want to come see the house. We're deciding who's doing what work. I have some pretty, vague statements. And if they ask questions, most of them don't. Most of them just want their house sold in a timely, clean process. And as long as we keep up on our end, they don't really care too much about where things are coming from. But the less times you got to go to the house, the less times you got to schedule with the seller and, explain what's going on, the smoother the process.
Right. Yeah. The 3 deals I've done have been 2 vacant houses and a lot. So I hadn't had that issue.
Yeah,
but,
that's the best.
Right.
Those are the best.
Well, and and that's actually how we started. And I just didn't even know how to begin doing it with the other ones. So we really, like I said, even with rentals, at first we didn't do them, but
right.
they will come. And the biggest ones, I'm going to tell you, for me, in the Milwaukee area, and anyone, other people in Milwaukee that listen in there, it is the duplexes or the single family rentals that is the biggest for us, and even the occupied ones. So, and then we have to work around tenants and everything too. And we've got it down now. It's a pretty smooth process for us. Obviously, other people and the sellers and the tenants are not in our control, so things don't always go 100% as planned. But being able to have a process when you do come to the point of having to work is very important, and having it before you do would be helpful.
Oh, you broke up there a little bit, Cody.
Closing those bills and things.
Oh, you're good.
Oh.
Ignore me.
Oh.
I caught up.
Yeah. Hey, man. Well, I appreciate all the information, all the tips and whatnot. Wish you all the best. And I'm right around 1,500, so I guess I'll be expecting my first deal pretty soon.
Yeah.
Good
and
luck.
then Chewy, actually don't hesitate to get Brandy to do an account review.
Okay.
If you want. But it seems like you have enough here as well.
I'll probably do that.
Whatever you want. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
All right. Thanks.
Elise, could you maybe what's the best way to make sure that happens?
We've already connected on Facebook. Just I'll DM you.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I can't believe the time's already almost at an hour. You guys have time for one more question?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. And then for those of you here, stick around. We'll do like a software demo after this as well. And now we've got Tom Wirtz. Tom, can you hear us? Hello?
While we get them on, Cody, a couple of people have asked, who is the virtual wholesaling course? Who's the guy's name again? How could you spell it?
Haim, Haim, and then it's a long last name, like it's Haim. I don't want to butcher it. Yeah, let me pull it up.
Can you guys hear me? No.
Yes, we can. How you doing, Tom?
What's up? I can't get the video going.
That's all right.
All right. I know it's running late, so I just wanted to ask if you could just expand upon. I'll just give you a quick synopsis. I've been doing this since April, and my mindset is nothing where I know it's going to work. I know it's going to hit, but what's happening is I blew out like 500 to 600 mailers, and I'm getting a ton of calls, but no one's motivated. Like, I mean, it comes in heavy and then they just back up and go cold. Like, I had a guy call me with about 30 rental properties. I asked a few questions, went over, like, these are examples. Then I had a couple of other people where they were literally just sitting there with a marbled notebook and going down the list of like calling every investor in the area, having them walk through the property, and then we're just going to go with the highest bid. So it's working, but it's just like, I can't get to the point where I could even negotiate. So I'm wondering, I'm at the process now. I ran a campaign. It was a 6-touch or 7-touch campaign. So I'm just wondering if I should rotate away from, I'm kind of rethinking everything. I have a daytime job, a 9 to 5, so I'm doing this on my own, and my son too. But I'm just trying to figure out if I should just rotate away from like absentee owner and just hit something else. Because what I'm finding also in discovery, like when you receive that first call and you get into a discussion with them, is people are just like, they're just canvassing every investor in our area. So it's kind of like I'm in competition. I don't get that like first touch, I'm the first one having a conversation thing?
I mean, I absolutely would not go away from the absentee. I mean, there's only really the two options. I mean, because corporate owned is really absentee as well, but I mean, it is a little different.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I would imagine it would be it's a lot more canvassed when it's their home and they're the ones living in it. And a lot of times absentee owners, they have multiple properties, and selling one, it doesn't have to be at the max price compared to, somebody who needs to sell their home personally and wants to get it, at least from what I've noticed. And I would imagine that would have to be true everywhere. But I mean, like I said a little earlier, you're not always looking for the ones that that you're not always going to be the first one that's getting the contact with the people, but you are going to be if you have enough driving hours going on and you're covering enough ground, because every day a situation comes up for somebody, and that's what DealMachine is about, is finding those people with those situations that other people haven't found, or the situation hasn't built enough to put them on a list that everyone's going to be marketing to. That's a big part of it, is just getting to them before they get added to that. And that is also, a numbers game, obviously, and covering enough ground and adding enough properties. But that's only a part of it. The other part is, being the first, having the better postcard than them, and making sure you are, we rarely close a deal in our first conversations with them. All of them are a month later calling and following up. We've gotten at least 3 deals that we just put on an automated SMS follow-up, and they've texted back later on, and then we started following up with them again. We totally had them off of our next contact, and they've called in. And so it's really, I don't think most investors are getting the closed deals on the numbers that we are, like the small numbers that we have, the 1 in 9, and in our virtual, it's 1 in 6 closed deals, leads to deals. And a lot of that is because we follow up so much and are very consistent, and we keep very detailed notes in our software about what we talked about. And if there's anything going on in their life, I make sure to bring that up the next time I talk to them, even if it's months later. People love that. It's really about building the rapport with them over the time and being in front of them when they decide it's time to sell. We've definitely got the deal over people that were willing to pay more because of that as well. I like I said, I'm not a big fan of the talking, but I'm getting pretty good at it now. And
you are.
And feeling their, it's almost like you have to have a sense for it, and you got to build on that and grow from it. It's really person to person and situation to situation, and learning how to talk to those people as individuals, and not as trying to just buy a house from somebody. And it's made ours very successful.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Sorry, guys, I couldn't get the video working.
No,
Maybe
that's
next
okay.
time.
We're glad to hear you.
So the Facebook guy, you can find him on Facebook as the virtual wholesale guy. You type that in, and his name is Hein.
Okay.
So if you type in the virtual wholesale guy in Facebook, he'll pop up. He's the only one. It's a big name. He's big. It's a big name. And then he'll be able to get you the course through there. And then the other thing I wanted to suggest was the virtual driving. That's a must. And we have used a couple virtual assistants for different reasons throughout the year. This place is the best one. Top virtual assistant. That's the place. It's thetopva.com. So that'll be good for you guys. Have your users go there, get a virtual driver, have them come in, mail the properties. It works. There's no reason not to do it. We've created a guide for that as well, though. We only do pictures that are out to 3 years. And also distress and campaigns and keeping track of that. But we have a process that we do for that as well. We don't just add every single one of them either.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we just wanted to say thank you so much, Cody and Liz, for coming on here. One of the few podcasts that you'll even do. We are like super honored that you joined us tonight. And also, if you need to leave, we're giving you permission to sign off and get on with your evening. But of course, if you want to stay for a demo, it's going to be a party here. So we're going to go through that in a little bit more detail on the DealMachine side here soon.
All right.
Yeah, we do got some things we got to take care of, but but if anyone does, especially the Milwaukee market people, any questions, you can definitely contact us on Facebook. It is just Sandpiper Realty, and then definitely do the virtual. If you are in a competitive market, definitely check out that virtual wholesale guy and his course, and make sure to be diligent on your reviewing process. And I suggest creating different campaigns for levels of distress. You want to, the high distress and medium distress ones, you only, you get 1,000 of them, only 100 of them will be medium distress or higher. And that's where 9 out of the 10 deals are going to come from, I promise. So you really want to save money, and you focus on those. You mail those a lot. You still mail the others over a long period of time, always over a long period of time, but you just do a lot less of them. And that you'll save a lot of money. Just reviewing the ones that won't work and putting them on, lower amount of mailer campaigns. Has saved us thousands and thousands of dollars and brought our deal to, our per deal down tremendously.
That's awesome. Yeah, great advice. Reduce the frequency as they're older. Definitely is something that will save you money. And
spread it out. Because they always do the 3, like you say, 3 minimum, and that is true. You should always do 3 minimum, but instead of doing them 30 days apart, do them 3 months apart. It's a low distress one, a low distress property. You want to be in front of them if they are interested in selling. You send them 3 in a row. They saw yours a month ago. They're annoyed by it or whatever it is, but you send it to them 3 months apart. They aren't really annoyed by it. You get a lot less hate calls that way too, but you're still going to get them. But instead of bombarding low distress people who aren't showing that they want to mail, sell their house, and we have gotten it. The third mailer 8 months later is when we get the call from. The second and third mailer, we don't really get the owner occupied ones right away. It's usually the second or third, which is 6 or 8, 9 months later.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks again, Cody and Liz. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys have an awesome night.
Thank you. Good luck to everybody listening, and if you stay with DealMachine, it'll work. I promise.
We're going to show them some software now while you guys are signing off.
All right, guys.
And
Cody, thank
bye.
you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Bye. Thank you so much. Elise, will you be my partner in crime for this demo?
As always.
Oh, good.
Would feel honored.
Good. So we kind of went down in sequence, which I'll start off with the success steps, and then we can go maybe down the left-hand side here. I'm sure you'll tell everybody the important parts as I'm moving around. So you guys, this is the dashboard. And when you get here, you're going to see a quick start guide. You've probably seen it. And then also you've got a case study, which is exactly like a webinar we just did with Cody and Liz, but one of the past ones. And then on the right, we've got some success steps. So the number one thing is clarify why you're using DealMachine. That's so important when it comes to achieving success and staying motivated and on track. So for me, originally, it was financial freedom. That's why I wanted to get into real estate. My parents were really upset that I was taking such a big risk. It really wasn't as big of a risk as they thought it was, but that kind of turned into my motivation at a second stage. It was like, oh, okay, I want to prove my parents wrong. So whatever that is for you guys, figure that out. I know a common one I hear is actually build generational wealth and actually spend more time with their family, because when you actually start a business, sometimes that takes over your life. You don't have any time left to spend with your family, which is the first reason why most people start a business in the first place. So don't lose sight of that goal and kind of view everything you're doing going forward within that lens. The next steps are a little bit less deep, but you want to get the mobile app. The reason is you can quickly pin properties while you're out and about. The third step is add a few properties. The fourth step is reach out. So you can actually send a postcard to yourself. If you own a house, you can add your house and send a postcard to yourself. And then the next thing is hop in your car and track some driver routes. So we'll show you that, but basically we want to show you how DealMachine can track where everybody's driven, just like one of those running apps. But we've got more details on properties per hour, how many miles for, you know, a tax deduction, et cetera. And then the last few is, it depends on your market. So like in Milwaukee, he said they actually mailed 300 properties, and that's what gives them a deal. So that's like a number that works for a lot of Midwest markets. But if you're in like San Diego, I bet that number is probably like 1,500 to be safe. But you get to make a bigger profit too. So expectations are huge, and that's what number 6 is all about, having the right expectations. Yeah, and then market for 120 days. We basically want you to have expectations set correctly again, where you want to mail them 7 to, any sales advice says you need to send them, you know, 7 to 13 touch points, whatever that may be. Cody was saying that he actually kind of puts more of a distance between his mailers. I do the 30 days. So I would just say as long as you expect to be communicating with them 7 times on average before you get a deal, you're going to be in really good shape there with your expectations. You probably get one sooner than that too, which is always nice, but you know, you want to under promise and over deliver. So let me hand it over to Elise, and let's see, how did I do?
You did great.
Thank you.
You did great. Just so everyone's clear, this is for the Street Engine success steps for that. This is a dashboard that you do see if you're in the CRM though, and you don't have Street Engine, but we want to put those success steps there for you guys. And someone asked when we do webinars, we do them every other week on Thursdays, and they're usually right here on this dashboard that you can go ahead. You'll see who's coming up. And then big thing for this page though, that I think a lot of people don't know about is, or kind of forget about, that is the most powerful, is the activity feed. And that's right by the success steps. If you click on that, you literally see every little act you've done for your account, and anything that any of your partners or drivers. I mean, this is some powerful-ish right here. Because this is like, okay, I sent out 500 properties. Like, look, David added 5 leads. What if he doesn't remember what leads those are? He can click into that, and it's going to show him what they are, if he's mailed to them, what the status is, where are they. This is just something that our dev team worked so hard in revamping, so that way we have the correct data for you guys. And I know it's kind of hidden right now, but it's so powerful. Like, don't forget about it.
Great point, Elise. So let's go over here onto the map. And now we have a map of properties. Who didn't ever want a map of properties before? That was my awkward way of saying something when I forgot what I was going to say. I was hoping you'd fill in the gaps.
We're very candid around here. You're dealing with real human beings.
What should I say about the map?
Oh my gosh, what shouldn't you say about the map? So the map is another just huge, powerful tool. If you didn't know already, we will show you this in a minute, but if you have Street Engine, you now can set this as your default when you open up the app. So that way you're ready to go when you're getting into the app and everything like that.
Oh yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, David shows it.
There you go.
Yeah, so you can
map leads list.
Because we know not everybody wants to, Susan, you go right to the map tab. And this looks the exact same in the app and on the desktop version. So this is lots of different things you can do here. All right, couple of big things. Say you're driving for dollars. Big thing is you want to hit that arrow at the top right. It's going to lock into your location.
Mhm.
And then you're going to want to press start driving, which will populate at the bottom.
Mm.
And you're ready to go. Now, the other two things that I would say is pin mode. Just so
Oh
you
wait,
guys,
start driving is on mobile.
yes.
I need to get on mobile. Oh, is it on the desktop?
I don't use it that much on desktop.
Okay, it usually is. But it would be down here at the bottom, guys, when you're on your phone. It says start driving.
Here,
I'll log into my phone to make sure that's true.
I got it.
Okay, is it working?
Yes. Okay, so
Oh,
guys,
good.
so you press the little, sorry, I have Facebook Messenger open. So you press the little arrow up there, and then at the bottom it says start driving, and you just press it, and then it's going to show you a really cool dashboard at the top that keeps track of how many properties you've added, how far you've driven, how long you've driven. And then big thing that I was talking to people about today, or what day was it? Yesterday on live, is on the left-hand side, there's pin mode. So pin mode, you have to tap the property, you see all the information, and then you decide if you actually want to add the lead into your list. Now, there's another way you can actually add leads as well. So my wonderful man, David's going to press on the pin mode and show you. It's called tap to add mode.
This mode?
And
Tap to add?
so yeah, so tap to add, instead of pressing it and then having to press another button to add the lead in, you just tap the property and it's added. I highly recommend this when you're driving for dollars because it's just so time saving. Honestly, I think it's way safer, and you can go back and delete properties really easy as you edit through them. I just think this is a really fast way because all you do is tap the property, then take the picture, and you're good to go. The other thing that
look at this one's vacant.
Oh, hey.
Look at it.
Look at that. Just look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know why, but that used to be like a meme or something. I don't remember.
It is. Yeah, I say it frequently.
Oh.
Just look at it.
Just look at it. David, why don't you tell them about highlights? Not the hair, but the map.
Oh, wait. Say that again. Oh, the highlights. Yes. So some people really like to focus. Actually, they want to see all the vacant properties. That's actually very relevant here. So let's see all the vacant properties and apply those filters. Now, you can see those highlights, those little boxes around the property boundary lines. And that means that the postman tried to deliver mail a bunch. And eventually the postman was like, hey, this mailbox is full. And it's been full for 5 days, you know, a lot of days in a row. And then he goes back to the post office and marks it as vacant. And that's the information that you're seeing here inside of DealMachine.
It's pretty freaking sweet. And then what else can you do for your team with highlights, David?
Yeah, so I actually have 4 drivers. They all drive 20 hours a week for me. And
there will be a video with one of them posted next week, just so you guys know.
Awesome. Yeah, so I actually was struggling to figure out how to tell them where to drive. And the issue was in Indianapolis, some streets are so terrible that if I spent $50,000 to redo an entire house, it would still be worth less than $50,000. And so I actually made this filter. It's called, I named it Deal Finders Use This. So let's apply it. Oh, I wish I could see what it is. Yeah, okay, sold over 3 years ago. And then I have, let's see. Oh, it's supposed to be assessed value over minimum of $50,000. There we go. Yes. So then I actually, oh no.
I was gonna say, David, go into edit that little edit.
I just clicked the edit thing. Yeah, but then you can say use preset for deal finders. So it says this preset will show highlights on the map for all of your deal finders. And then what I tell them, I was like, when you're seeing where you want to add properties, make sure you're on a street that has at least 50% green highlights. That way, you know, you're in a street that it'll be worth at least over $50,000 because I've put the assessed value as that. Okay.
And they do follow it.
Well, if they don't, then we have a weekly meeting, and let me pull up this scorecard. Actually, we're having our weekly meeting tomorrow. It's on Fridays. Let's see.
You should videotape it if they allow you.
Well, well, maybe Ty could come.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's what we do on the meeting, and I pay them at the end of this meeting. So I say, how many hours did you do? And I say, how many leads did you input? This guy's ratio is great. So he gets a green light and he gets paid. And then Nate, he drove for 18 hours and added 300 leads. Amazing. Now it's almost too high, because if he's adding too many leads, I'm like, are you in a bad area that's like too bad for me that it wouldn't be valuable? But we address that. We go into DealMachine, we look at his leads, and I see where he drove, and I'm like, yeah, okay, those are good leads. And then Garcia, he drove 20 hours, only added 67 leads. And that was a problem, because I need them, I'm paying them by the hour, and I need them to add at least 12 to 15 leads per hour. Otherwise, they're either in the wrong neighborhood or they're like wasting a lot of time. So, so now I can actually go, so I asked them how many hours, but then I also like verify it. But anyway, my whole point was, if their ratio's off, I go into DealMachine and I see where they've been driving, and we use those highlights as a guideline to be like, is this street like half full of highlights? And if it's not, then they're in the wrong place, and I remind them of that. I'm paying 20 per hour, guys. So yeah, the next step is I go to driving to verify their hours. So let's see here. We've got miles driven and time driven, and then I can filter it by, this is the wrong account, but you can filter it by the driver, and then you verify, yeah, this is my test account. But anyway, you can see the right stuff right here. So then like after the call, I go ahead and I verify the numbers that they gave me to see if they're being truthful. If they're a little off, it's no big deal, but this is how we correct it. So like not only, pretty much Garcia, like he couldn't be a jerk, because his team members are right there, like also pulling their weight and seeing that he's not. So it really puts the social pressure on him to like step up or stop driving. Anyway, back to you, Elise.
No, Jeremy was asking great questions. If, you know, they were VAs or Craigslist, and just so everyone knows, I posted a video we have of David. It's really detailed. Like, I mean, any question I ever heard from anyone, I asked him about hiring drivers, and David gave us his Indeed listing, wording, the driver contract. I mean, everything's listed in there. So go check it out. Super informative. And you just sparked an idea in my head that I would love. We're probably going to do a follow-up video of David showing like these scorecards, the meetings that he has with them, showing how he has those conversations with people like Garcia and stuff like that, to, you know, make sure that you guys know also, like, once you get them, how you keep them and keep them motivated. So, yeah. All right, let's move along.
Okay. All right. So, couple things that you might not know about the search. You can not only search for addresses, but you can search for zip codes, cities, and owner names. So if you're like, does this guy own more than one property? You could search their name in there to see. But now this is your leads view. So remember, every one of those properties we clicked, that added a lead to our system. And those properties are now right here. And I can actually view them, filter them, delete all of them, or send mail to all of them, or skip trace all of them. You can do all of that right here.
There's literally so many things you can do on this. And if anybody asks where our CRM is, this is the bulk of, like, this is where you're keeping all those relations right here, the notes, the tasks. And our task management, hold on, the clock's dinging real quick. Okay, I'm good. Only one ding. But this is where you do those things, and task management is coming very soon to this, which will definitely help you guys, but we do have hacks on how to do that right now. And so this is like, you do, I mean, so much right here. So much. This is your test account. Are they on this?
They're not on this. Thank you. I was freaking out. I was like, why is it working?
I saw the pause and I was like, no, they're not here for a reason.
Let's try to get in my other account. That'll be more fun.
And just so you guys know, if there's something that, because there is just so much on these, we have a ton of videos, and I know I'm a little biased because I do a lot of them, but there's a lot of great videos on our YouTube channel that go over all of this stuff of how to like monitor your leads, follow up with them, putting some systems in place, like any little thing. And if I missed any video you want to see, tell me and I will make it. All right.
So this was added by one of my drivers, Martin.
There he is. Boom. So now Martin's going to get a push notification that David mentioned him in this lead to his phone.
And then also I thought I would show you guys like the driving routes. Those are pretty cool.
There we go.
Yeah. Miles. Now I wanted to check time driven, and I can set the fields to the last week. Okay, so there it is, last week. And then now I want to filter it to my team member, Martin. Oh, that's not Martin. Okay. All right, so it looks like Martin drove 134 miles in 33 hours. And so tomorrow, after he tells me what his hours were, I'll just go back here and verify it real quick. And so that's how you would do that.
I like that. I like that you ask and then you verify.
It's honestly easier just to ask, because then I don't have to like look it up beforehand. It's good.
Susan, yes, you can. You can farm the San Diego area. If you are in Hawaii, you would just need to, you could do virtual driving for dollars, or you could hire drivers in that area. So yeah, so what the tab David's in right now is Street Engine. This is where you see your routes, you see those analytics, your drivers, things like that. And then if we go down one more, we go to List Engine, which is our newest piece to the puzzle.
Oh, hang on a second. Oh, hold on a second.
Hashtag CEO problems, has too many accounts and can't get it.
That account's so old. We have long forgotten about it, and also the support for it. Okay. Just because it was the OG account. There we go.
The OG. Let's show the driver's exact route driven, and if so, how do you direct your drivers to specific areas not yet farmed? Jeremy, yes, it does show the exact route they've drove, and David kind of showed those highlight properties earlier. They can also see the pins, so that way they know that, and you can't duplicate properties, and the route tracking, they'll see if someone's already driven that area. So they should not go there again. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wait, show them the fun way.
What is the fun way?
The third option on how to do it. Yeah. Okay. I think that's the coolest like thing ever.
All right, we have used the fun way. Now you could get vacant properties, and it says there's 202. And then we could also add some additional filters and say like, vacant properties that are in pre-foreclosure. I don't know if that, okay, let's back this out.
202.
No foreclosure leads there.
No pre-foreclosure.
That's funny. So yeah, you could basically do anything that you'd highlight your filters for on your map. You could do that here and build a list. All right. I want to clear my filters now. Let's just see vacant. Yeah, and then the main thing that you could do is keep it as smart list or a dumb list. So a dumb list would just like pull it once, and then you'll have those leads available in your DealMachine account. And if you do a smart list, it'll remember what that list is called, and it'll update that list in your CRM as other houses become vacant or they are no longer vacant. And then you could also sync that to your marketing. So you could start mail when you actually turn on, when a property becomes vacant, or you could turn it off whenever it no longer is vacant. So that's what these controls do. And then you could submit it, and now it's gonna build your list. So it's building in progress. Let's check the progress. Ooh, 28 out of 202. So do you have any, did I miss anything on this, Elise?
My only other thing was, is just showing the breakdown. And just so you guys know, those breakdowns can be, as you can see on the left-hand side, David has his, not only his list building list, but his organic lists from the CRM. So you can actually click on those, see any type of like where, just literally where it's at in any process. Like offer, how many offers did you accept out of this list? How many, you know, and that's going to break down and show you your KPIs that you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see, okay, well, this is, so I personally have a virtual D for D list because I want to start to see what my conversion is with my virtual driving for dollars compared to my actual. So then I can go in here and pull that, my virtual driving for dollars list, see what the breakdown is and know my conversions. So that's just something that I think is really cool because you can't, it's just a nice little compact thing to keep yourself organized.
Mm-hmm.
Richard, I mainly do all my admin work on the computer. I think David does too. Like the phone I use mainly just for driving. And if anything, I'm on the go.
Yeah. I mean, you can do this from your phone as well. Everything here that we just did is available on the phone, mobile app.
Yeah.
All right. Moving right along. Now we can send mail through DealMachine, and there's like a bunch of different pieces of mail that you can send that we've pre-done for you. And now in all these, you can actually change the photo, the color, and actually what it says, but you can also just send the exact mailer that we've put in your system. You just pick your favorite. One of my favorites is the ballpoint letter. And it's actually written with a ballpoint pen. Can you guys still hear me? My AirPods are dying, so I heard the little noise. And that's actually written with a robot. But then we've also got more postcards. I like the full, I like the wave. I think those are clean and modern, and they stand out compared to other mail that I see being sent. So there's your mailers. Let's see. Campaigns, a little bit more of an advanced feature, but it lets you say, you know, step 1, send mailer A. Step 2, send mailer B. So that way the mail is different every time. So if you're into that, that's an option. And then the signature is the return address that's put on the mail. So that way the seller knows that it's coming from you. And my recommendation is get a local phone number to put on here if you're not investing locally, as well as like a PO box that's local to that market as well. So here's where you can invite team members. You can have up to 30 team members in the CRM, which is free. And then if you have drivers, there's certain different numbers of drivers you can have at each step of the street engine. The drivers get access to the mobile map. So that's like the key feature that they would need to drive around and add those properties. And if you're like going to recruit your drivers, that's when you want to check out this recruit drivers page that lets you actually create a custom landing page to give your job applicants an action that says like, hey, go here, sign up under my account, add properties for an hour, then call me, and then we'll pay you and we'll talk about a full-time job. That's what Cody was talking about. This is part of the enterprise street engine, but you can.
Oh, you cut out. Your AirPods finally died.
It did. Yeah, so you can add drivers on every street engine by just clicking invite by email, though, if you don't have the enterprise version.
Could you show the preview of that really quick, just so that they see what the landing page looks like?
I guess I can.
Hey, this is Josh with DealMachine.
And there's our beautiful Josh Johnson.
Yep. Yeah, so I deleted a lot of the content here. Wow, I didn't even realize that.
But look at how, how
it still
easy
works.
that.
But yeah, so you can actually, there's like written text here that comes by default, and you can also customize, and you can customize the video as well. And then there's like training that you can require. If you want to save yourself time, you can make them watch all these training videos. You can turn these on or off and explore those as well.
Love it.
Okay, we're getting to the end, and Betty, thank you so much. I'm glad that you like it. It's a huge time saver, seriously. I built it for myself when I was starting to recruit drivers. Even if you only end up with 4 like I have, it's like I added 156 to see who those 4 best performers were. So it's really great to have the ability to just let people self-sign up under your account and see who actually does a good job. Even if you only have a couple that are your long-term guys or gals. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else worth exploring here. I mean, this is the settings page. It's got a lot of settings.
I will say, show on this one, the only 2 things I would say for settings is default mailing options. So if you don't have the campaigns feature, this is where you set your default mailing options to like do repeat mail. The other thing would be add-ons. So if you wanted to do certain add-ons, you would find that in the billing section. And that's also where you keep track of how many leads you've put in for the month for your CAP, for your CRM, and for your street engine and everything. Richard, yeah, there's so much here. That's why, also, yet again, I'm biased, but the YouTube channel has playlists that are broken down for each engine plus the CRM. So it's in like little dinner portions of chunks. I don't know where I was going. It's the evening time. I must be hungry. But there's little chunks of each one so that you can focus on one and then move on to the next one and be masters at each one. Jeffrey's been a member for 2 months. Welcome to the family, Jeffrey. And it saves him at least 8 steps before sending out mailers. Yay! We're so glad we can help. That's like our goal here, is to just help you guys. And Szohr, you can go back and watch the video. It won't be posted though until tomorrow. So go to our YouTube channel and press the subscribe and notifications button, and you'll get a push when we drop it tomorrow. Actually, what's being dropped tonight, and David doesn't even know, is that we are dropping David's first burr. I love doing that. And I did put icicles in the thumbnail because I just had to play on it. But
that's great.
It was week 2 of me starting at DealMachine, and David took me to his first burr and got to follow him around, and you get to see how he works with his first set of contractors that he ever worked with. So that's dropping tonight, just so if anyone is interested. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Elise. That's exciting news.
It is. Ty did such a good job on it. It brings, of course, it always gives me like feels.
Well, I also wanted to let you guys know, if you need help after this webinar, you can always find us. We respond under 5 minutes. And inside the app under help and support is where you would find us, and you can chat with us right away.
For the next 18 minutes, and then they won't be back until tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Yeah, so that we have 12 hours on and 12 hours off. So we are available from 9 to 9 Eastern time.
And Betty said that after watching and hearing everything, she's going to be a member tonight. Welcome, Betty.
Awesome, Betty. Well, we can't wait to have you, Betty, on the next, maybe not the next one, but a future webinar.
Yeah.
So talk about your success.
I love it. I hope everyone, and also know we have lives every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and actually tomorrow I have to take off. So Hannah is doing a live takeover, and she's going to be talking about our 30-day street building challenge. And so she is going to blow your minds with all this information, and it's going to be phenomenal. Joe, there I am.
You're beautiful. That's why I put you on. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm going live. So if you're free to join me, I would love to see you there.
Yep. That's going to be on the YouTube channel, DealMachine. No, youtube.com/DealMachine.
Yes. Or Facebook groups, Twitch, if you're on Twitch. We are everywhere. She'll be streaming everywhere.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. And welcome, Betty, our newest DealMachine member. And to everyone who joined us tonight, we're so happy and hope that we can help you achieve all of your wildest dreams. And good night.
Good night.
Good night.